What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another Animous tutorial. And today we're going to be discussing cleaning your airbrushes. Let's get right to it. A few of you asked me, how do I clean my airbrushes? You know, what's the process that I use? What kind of tools do I use? What kind of solvents I use to clean my airbrushes? So normally what I'll do with these airbrushes is that I'll use them for an extended period of time, just doing partial cleaning. And then after I'm done with my whole project, then I'll go ahead and deep clean. Unless I see some problems with their function while I'm painting, I usually don't tear down completely to clean until the project's completely done. Alright, so now that we've taken it apart, usually I like to also take apart the interior there. So you would just take out this bolt right here, and then you would take out this bolt to take the whole assembly out, and then take it completely apart. Just to go ahead and show you a little bit of how it look, right? So in that case, you would just take the bolt from here, take the bolt that's over here, take the trigger off, and then you'll be able to pull everything from, unscrew that completely till it comes out. And then you'll pull the interiors off and you'll pull everything out. The reason why I would just inspecting it is because I don't see any paint residue or anything in there. So because mostly I clean as I go, I don't just use it until the end of the day and then do that. I just partially clean it every day. Just by taking a look inside, you can see that the chamber, let me see if I can get a little bit of focus in there for the chamber itself. Chamber looks fairly clean. We will still be going ahead and putting something in there just to wipe it down, just to make sure that there's no extra residue or anything in there, and then we can go from there. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the other parts. I already see some residue paint on the needle, so we're definitely going to clean that and then go from there. I see some on the cap as well. Now, with that being said, remember that whenever you are taking apart your airbrushes, you have to look out for, whenever you are putting them back together, you need to look out for leaks, which is why you should always put them back together and back on. Like, everything needs to be not in order, but you need to make sure that you know where every part goes, which is one of the reasons why I actually like that Gaahleri includes that little diagram in their boxes, so everybody can learn how to use their airbrushes, right? So that's super cool, right? So biggest thing that you're gonna need, so depending on how or what products you use or what kind of paints you use, then you can use different things. Now, there are tool cleaners out there. There are water-based tool cleaners, there are alcohol-based tool cleaners, lacquer-based, whatever based, there's a lot of tool cleaners out there. The strongest tool cleaner I've used so far is going to be either one of those that they sell in like Home Depot, or the actual Tamiya tool cleaner. That thing will eat through your gloves if you're using it. Which is why I usually try to steer clear of it, mainly because it'll also, if it eats through your gloves, it's going to eat through these O-rings, and that's what you don't want. So I try to steer clear from that. Mainly what I use will be the lacquer thinner. Sometimes I use lacquer thinner for those really hard to hit spots, or I will use alcohol to clean my airbrushes. Now, I use it in different versions. I use a liquid, which I will use swabs to wipe down some parts. I also use alcohol pads to wipe down and like scrub with like a little small screwdriver or a little tool there. Now, other things that you can use. They sell these kits on Amazon that are used to clean your airbrushes. Right, it has like these little brush tools, and it has little hard parts for whenever you got like real gunked up stuff in there. These are definitely worth the money to have, so just in case you ever get some clogged or anything like that, which has happened to me before, especially with painting with acrylics. Another tool that they give you is this. So someone talked to me and asked me about this before. This you can use. This is to be used to clean the nozzle. So for example, if you pour some liquid in there and it's clogged right now, like right now I can see that there is some paint in there, you would just run this through. Now if it were clogged, it wouldn't have gone through the whole way. Like as you can see right here. See, I went through the whole way. Like if it would have been clogged right now, it wouldn't have gone through the whole way. All that does is pick up whatever debris is inside that nozzle and then pull it out with it whenever you do pull it out. I use it for that. You also can use it in reverse. You can use it going this way, just to scrape some of the liquid out. Everybody has different ways of cleaning their airbrushes. Some might just use this tool for other things that it's not that. That's completely okay. You know, everybody has, like I said, everybody has different ways of cleaning their airbrushes. Some might look at mine and say, well, that's not how you should do it. Well, everybody, like I said, everybody has their own way of doing it. Now, what I do want you to remember is that whenever you are scrubbing your airbrushes, you have to make sure you use the correct bristles for it, right? So this is perfect for this one, for one end. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get a pipette. I'm going to pour some alcohol in there, and then we're going to go ahead and start cleaning our airbrush. Some of you also asked me, what do I use to wipe down my airbrushes? Well, usually I just use, I just try to use shop towels. You guys know that I use shop towels here, so so just keep that in mind that, you know, I do use shop towels, whatever that. So you can see it poured to the other side, so it's not that bad. It's not clogged or anything, so I'm actually grateful for that. Thankfully, I've been cleaning this little by little. I don't really care if the liquid pours in everywhere because, like I said, I'm cleaning the airbrush, so it's not like I'm gonna go ahead and avoid the fact that it's gonna get dirty everywhere. So let's go ahead and try to run this through. All right, perfect. All right, see a lot of debris coming out, which is great. What I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna go ahead and, there you go, perfect. So if you can see, you might not be able to take a look in there, maybe my lighting is not enough, but I already cleaned any type of debris that was left in there. I already went ahead and brushed it out. Like I mentioned, this is just gonna be quick, and I'm just trying to show you the process that I use, just so you're a little bit familiar with it. Because some people will have like really bad gunked up paint in their chamber. What you want to do is that you want to try to scrape it as much as you can before you try to run anything through, because what's going to happen is that if you try to run it through, what's going to happen is that that paint is going to get stuck in the chambers. Then if you're like me right now, that because you always keep it clean and maintain it, that you don't really have to completely take it apart, then at that point you will have to take it apart. Same thing if you run into an issue where you try to pull your needle out. There's two ways you can do this, right? You can pull your needle out through the back, or you can do what some of us do, which we also pull them out through the front, which some might say that it's a lot safer, which it is. The problem with that is that if you feel that the needle's about to it's getting stuck because there's paint in there, try to clear that out before you pull that needle out, because it's just going to clog all the way through. Same thing if you try to pull it through the back and you feel that the needle's stuck because it's stuck with paint and debris. Make sure that you hold that, but that you try to clean it as much as you can. Maybe twist it around a little bit. Maybe try to get that debris out of that chamber, so that way you don't run into that issue where you just pull the needle out, damage it, or damage anything on the inside because you have paint in there. Yeah, so this feels great. And this trigger's always felt great, even outside of out of the box. So it's always good. So let me go ahead and grab a shop towel. So I'm gonna have it handy. I will still put grease in there. Like, you know what I do? I will put some grease here over the top, and then just let it drain in there. Put some grease on this corner where I know it will grind a little bit, and then just do it that way. Let me go ahead and set this part to the side since we've already cleaned it, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. Now, someone asked me, why do you use rubbing alcohol to clean your parts? Well, for starters, if you use anything but alcohol, that'll be the death of your colorful mat. One thing that I want to mention is that after months using these airbrushes, I can definitely tell that that mirror finish does come in handy. However, it's still not as mirrory as I would like it to be when it comes to maybe cleaning it a little bit better. out. I haven't had any issues with like paint sticking or anything like that, so it flows well. No need to clean that. That is part of that. No need to clean this. This doesn't touch paint. All right, here we go. So in here, just taking a look here, doesn't look like there's any debris in there. We're gonna still go ahead and grab one of these bristles and go ahead and run it through. All right. So no debris. Okay, perfect. So like I mentioned, like most of these are fairly clean because I maintain them. So now the biggest thing here is going to be, so you can see that the paint accumulates. Let's see if I can get it to focus. You see there's no mirror shine there. You're about to see the difference now when I clean it. Now you can actually see the shine that came back on the inside. Let's see if I can get it to go. All right, so now for the nozzle, for this airbrush is a little bit different. Now some airbrushes will have the nozzle attached to the actual airbrush itself. For those, you're going to need a small tool. Usually some airbrushes come with this type of tool where you can go ahead and take that little nozzle off, and then you clean that nozzle off, and then you clean the rest of the parts, put it back on. When you are using this to lock that nozzle back in place, do not over tighten it. Again, I repeat, do not over tighten it. What you're going to do is that it's gonna go from righty, from lefty loosey, righty tighty to righty loosey. You don't want that. You want to make sure that that once you tighten it, you just get to that point where it stops and then just leave it alone. And I say that because it's already happened to me, all right? It's just terrible because then I got to order new nozzles. Now, if you have MAC nozzles, or if you have MAC type nozzles, or you have these type of nozzles, which are the ones that Gaahleri offers on some of the airbrushes, then it's a little bit different because the nozzle is separated from the parts themselves, so you don't have to worry about, nothing unscrewing off or falling off. And let me tell you, it's really hard to clean nozzles. Like if you're someone like me that has like super big hands and you're always, you're not really tactile with stuff, it gets to a point where it's like, golly, dude, it's super hard. All right, so this one's already good to go. Run a little bit more of that alcohol. Oh, I guess I ran out. I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit here. All right, perfect. Because someone asked me earlier, do I need to lubricate my airbrush every time I take it apart and put it back together? The answer is no. If your airbrush is fully lubricated right now, like I can see parts on mine that are currently lubricated because I didn't touch them too much after I took them apart. If they're like that, is it good to always have that extra layer just for protection? Yeah, sure, that's not a problem. But too much lubrication can become a problem. So, so just make sure that you are aware of that when you're putting your airbrush back together. All right, so now that this one is put together, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean the needle. Some of you asked me what I do to clean the needle, how far do I, lubricate it, etc., etc. So here's the thing. Depending on the needle, I only normally clean the areas that have paint on them. As usually is that big front portion right here. Now for this part, I do use lacquer thinner. Mainly because I want to make sure that I get all that paint out of there, but I don't just pour it on the needle. I just pour a little bit on this shop towel right here, and then I grab the needle in my hand and I wipe it down. Look at that. Go ahead and hit it one more time. This is a problem that I've encountered with these airbrushes, that since the nozzle doesn't just sit there in the first place, you have to actually put the nozzle inside the cap first. If it wants to go in the cap. There we go. Kind of like gotta get them in there. And then once you get them in there, you gotta make sure that you go ahead and put it together, then push the needle through. Right? There you go. Okay, because it's just clean. So let me go ahead and put a little bit of lubrication in there so it doesn't get stuck while I'm using it. All right. Let's go ahead and place it back in. All right. So now that the needle's already in there, all you gotta do is go ahead and secure it in place. Test the trigger. Make sure the needle doesn't get stuck. Go back and forth. Hit it a few times, see if you have any problems with your trigger, and then go from there. Now, somebody asked me what I took it apart, I put it back together, and then now I'm having leak issues. Look, if you're having leak issues, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be caused by something you did. And you got to take it apart. Now, if it's leaking outside of the box, brand new, then that means there's something wrong with the airbrush, and you need to take it apart just to troubleshoot what's going on with it. You guys all know that I've had troubles with airbrushes in the past, and gladly I've been able to figure it out. But not everybody's the same way. Some people don't have the experience to go ahead and take the airbrush apart. I'm just going to tell you, just be patient with your product and go ahead and do it. Now, some airbrushes might not have issues out the box, and that's great. That's awesome. But if you do end up with an airbrush that might have issues outside of the box, please make sure to be patient and then go from there. All right, go ahead and set this cap back up here and all set. If you have any questions or any more comments, or if you have any other tips and tricks or any tool tricks that you can tell someone about cleaning their airbrushes, feel free to leave them in the comments. All right, my comment section is always open. I'm very active and I always reply to your comments. So thank you so much for watching, you guys, and keep a lookout for the next tutorial.